welcome to another video on the Ugamadi Football channel. And today's video, yes, I'll be reviewing the Everton vs Chelsea game that took place on Sunday, yesterday. It ended in yet another loss for Chelsea. I think it's the first back-to-back loss in the Mauricio Pochettino era. And this video, basically, I'll be talking about three things, yes, that I think Pochettino is getting wrong, and he keeps getting wrong. So I wanted to do this video on Sunday, but I was really pissed. Sorry, really angry and annoyed and upset, and I didn't think I would be as objective and analytical as I would have wanted to be. But it was yet another disappointing performance. Although I would say the performance was better than the Man United game, though that's not saying much. But it was better, and I have a feeling that if this Chelsea that turned up against Everton turned up against United, given how poor United has been this season, Chelsea probably would have won that match. And if you had seen the review to this preview to this game, I predicted a narrow win. I was hoping to see a comeback to sort of form for Chelsea, but obviously that wasn't to be. That is not what we saw on Sunday. So quickly, three things Mauricio Pochettino is getting wrong. Cole Palmer is not a traditional right winger. Yeah, he's skillful on the ball. He has technique on the ball, very brilliant technique on the ball. So he's a good pass out the ball, good cross out the ball, but he's not a traditional winger because he lacks one thing, which is that electric pace. He always tends to drift centrally. He always tends to come to the middle, move to the middle, and that leaves the fullback exposed. He should be a 10, not on the right wing. He should be a 10 behind striker, and we've seen this work. And Mauricio Pochettino knows this can work as well because he sort of switched it up towards the end of the game in the second half. So Gallagher, people say he's a good presser of the ball, is improved, no doubt. But after pressing and winning the ball, what do you do with the ball? Because right now, what I think this team needs is to have Cole Palmer as the primary decision maker in the final third, i.e. the number 10 role. You should be playing as a number 10 behind whatever striker you choose to put up there, whether it's Broja, whether it's Jackson, because he would always play them through, and he does have the ability, not just the desire, which someone like Conor Gallagher would have, the desire to make the right play, but the actual ability to slide in a pass to a non-rushing number 9 or slide in a pass to a winger. He doesn't quite have the ability to do that. And when you have someone on your books that can do that, you should be using him to the best of his ability. Now, that's the first thing out of the way. The second thing out of the way is I need to speak on is Enzo Fernandez. Enzo Fernandez isn't an 8. Get that right. He's not an 8. He's more of an offensive 6, if you want to put it that way. But we need Enzo Fernandez to coordinate the play. Receive the ball from the back line, receive the ball from the defensive half of the pitch, and then decide how the play goes. You've heard this before, DLP, deep line playmaker. Hold the ball, spread the ball, left flank, right flank, middle, give the ball to Palmer. Palmer creates from there. Okay, long balls from deep onto Nicholas Jackson, onto Broja, and then the team moves up that way. But totally removing him from that 6th row and pushing him up front, close to the striker, you're taking away his ability to read the game. You're taking away his ability to control the game. Enzo Fernandez isn't a player that you hope to get you goals. Now, he can score a blinder, a worldie out of nowhere. But as to say you were expecting him to be so high up, you're expecting him to be the one to get you those goals. No, it's not going to work. It's not going to work Rather, you should have Palmer there. We've seen Palmer pressing, winning the ball, and he can score. So the issue of pressing is out of the way because Palmer can press and win the ball. So back to Enzo, he should be in that sixth row. He should be in that sixth row. Now, for me, the third thing Mauricio Pochettino is getting wrong, and I wonder why he is getting it wrong, but nonetheless, he's getting it wrong, and that is not playing with traditional wingers, always having a way of neutralizing one part of the pitch. Either he plays a central back as a left back as at the fullback position, or he plays um, someone who just infield as a winger, and that overexposes the fullback. And not only that, it puts so much pressure on the fullback to do the attacking work as well as the defensive work all the time. That's the same thing that happened to the fullback, you know, in the Manchester United game because Cole Palmer kept drifting in field as that is in the words of Jose Mourinho, his natural habitat. He kept drifting in field, kept drifting in field, and then what happened? He left Rhys James exposed there and left Rhys James overly exposed to the attacks from Everton on that flank. And also in the second half, left Cucurella, or not in the second half, but later on left Cucurella also exposed as well. And then on the other side of things, what that does to the opposition team, it allows them to compensate. Because one, it takes when you do that as a coach, it takes away the balance from your team, which means one part of the pitch is has more offensive threat than the other. And what that does, for the opposition is it allows them to properly compensate, for the threat on the other flank. So where you had Mudrik, where you had Cucurella, you know, bombing on the left side of the pitch, what you have a midfielder of Everton drift over, join the fullback, and they can easily, compensate. But when you have both flanks having equal offensive threat, you're having both wingers, both fullbacks on each side bombing forward, then you give the opposing team a headache. You give them a conundrum. How do we do this? Where do we overcome? Where do we compensate for? And what then would happen is there will be an overcompensation on one side of the pitch, and that allows you to then even attack more from the other side of the pitch, if you get what I mean. So he keeps getting this wrong. I don't know why. Other coaches, I'm sure, like your Conte, will be looking at Pochettino and licking their lips and wondering what's wrong with this guy because I remember the time when we, as Chelsea fans, used to complain, used to cry out, used to um, sort of gnash our teeth to say, why don't we have balance in this team? For those that would have blamed Marina, would have blamed her to say, why don't we have balance in this team? On one side of the pitch, we've got a fullback that can run, we've got wingers that can run, and on the other side of the pitch, we have maybe a winger that can run, and we have the slow fullback in Marcos Alonso. But for someone like Pochettino, you have all this at your disposal, and you're just overthinking things. He keeps getting this wrong. I don't know why. He keeps getting this wrong. So what I would like to see is a Sterling, or even more to the point, a Noni Madrid as opposed to a Sterling. And I know I say three things, but one last thing that Mauricio Pochettino keeps getting wrong is his timing. Now, when you're playing against a side like Everton, though they're close to the relegation zone, when the game starts, it's 0-0s. They are more offensive. They are more open to attacks, and that means they are more open to attack, and that means they are more open to the counter attack and more room for your wingers to run in. So when you have people like Sterling, they ought to start the game because instantly they're able to counter attack, but not when they've gotten their goal or when they're trying to see out the game for a point or for a win, then they shut up shop. And then players like Sterling can't really do much because Sterling really is at his best when he has space to run into. But once he stopped, he doesn't quite have that skill to beat a man 1v1. But when he's running full tilt at full speed, he can glide past 3, 4 players. So Madueke should have been the one to take up that spot, but back to the point, timing, because he started with Palmer. Palmer was drifting in field, leaving that right wing open, overexposing Rich James, overexposing Cucurella later on in the game. And then it was only in the second half, I think after Everton had got their first goal, then he brought on Raheem Sterling. And then it was at that point, there was like no point. Well, as a coach, you have to do something. But at that point, there was really no point because Everton had decided to sit back even deeper. And there's nothing Sterling could really do because it was shut up short time. So the main three things, like I said, that Mauricio Pochettino is getting wrong is one, playing Palmer as a right winger as opposed to a 10, playing Enzo Fernandez as an 8 as opposed to deploying playmaker in more of a 6 role. And he's getting his timing wrong. But what I mentioned as the third thing is playing Conor Gallagher in that 10 role. That is just not working. He can win the ball, but after you win the ball, what next? What next? So later on this week, I'll be doing my preview to the Chelsea versus Sheffield United game, and let's see how that one would go. So at this point, we've come to the end of today's video. I'd like to see your thoughts and comments on this. What do you think? Do you share my opinion that Mauricio Pochettino is getting things wrong, or do you feel he's right on the money with the selection and it's more to do with the players? Let me just know what your opinions are generally. So at this point, I've come to the end of today's video and see you yet again on another.